Black people can say things to white people all the time and they never get canceled. There's no backlashing about this.
White people say, let's preserve whiteness. It's an exclusionary practice.
Go on, say the M word, go on.
No. I don't want you to invite this woman to say a racially harmful term.
We've got what quite literally might be the most insane Piers Morgan panel that I've ever watched as they cover racism and things related to it. So buckle in, and if you can, leave us a like. Leave us a like, because after you see this video, trust me, I definitely need it. It also gives us a huge boost in the algorithm, and let's otherwise hop right into the panel.
I have no problem with Italians or Irish people or anyone else saying let's preserve our culture. But when we don't talk about ethnicity, but actual race, and when white people say let's preserve whiteness, it's an exclusionary practice. It's about preserving laws and practices and tactics that do harm to other people. A Black Power movement was about opening stores and building businesses. A white power movement was a white power. That's the giga. A white power movement was about something very, 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 very different. A white power movement included lynchings and included Ku Klux Klan, etc. So let's not pretend that these are opposite sides of the same coin. When white people say, let's save our country, and even using language of our country, when Black people built this thing, when you say that, you're talking about forcing people out of the country. You're talking about laws that discriminate. You're talking about doing harm to people. Let's not pretend these are the same thing, just like these GoFundMe campaigns are not the same thing. I'm okay if everybody gets out of the GoFundMe industrial complex. I'd love that. But let's not pretend that supporting someone for a fair trial is the same thing as supporting a grown white woman berating and calling the N-word to a 5-year-old autistic Black child.
And the really important point that I want to hone in on to begin here is the difference in race and ethnicity, right? There's nothing wrong with celebrating culture, even ones that ostensibly would be related to the white race, like European or French, right? Shared values, shared struggles, successes, wanting that culture to flourish. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. That is different from an inherent focus on race, which is a social construct. It was specifically designed to focus on appearance and create hierarchy, where, as Mark mentions, if you look at the white power movements throughout history, the meaning and purpose of those are vastly different from Black empowerment movements, and a lot of that has to do to Black speaking to African American culture. The race would be brown, obviously, whereas white is not a culture. It legitimately is just a race, and so you're emphasizing the hierarchy, and I think that history has shown us the issues and the belief that being of a certain race makes you better than other people.
Rude thing, which, by the way, Black people can say things to white people all the time and they never get canceled. There's no backlashing about this. I want to live in a country where people are allowed to say what they want unashamedly, and you will
well, go
not
on then,
have
say it. Say
you
the
will
M
not have
go on, say
speech.
go on, say the M word, go on.
No. I don't want you to invite this woman to say a racially harmful term in front of me, because I'm the only on here. So if she says it, I'm the victim of it. So please don't invite her for ratings to call me the N-word, because that's basically what it's going to be. There's a bunch of white people up here, you and one Uncle Tom on the left here, and asking her to say the N-word while I'm here is ridiculous. You would not sit here with a Jewish person and say, please use a Jewish slur in front of this Jewish. It's ridiculous. I understand you don't have any bad intent, Piers. I understand what you're trying to do, but we already know she's racist, and I don't want to invite a racial harm to me.
I hear you.
I mean, absolutely valid response from Mark. The only response you should have as the only person of color on the panel, kind of wild by Piers, but I don't think he had ill intent necessarily. Also, I do love that the same people who will be like, you should be able to say whatever you want when it comes to the N-word will be like the first to cry about From the River to the Sea, or jokes about the Trump suiting, or when you talk about yeeting a fetus. Like, it's never equal. The buck for them for free speech always stops at let us say the N-word. Like, racism should be allowed. And also the literature on racism leading to negative mental health outcomes for people of color, from depression to anxiety to suicidal thoughts, I think makes it pretty clear that mental health is what we should prioritize and value over people's feelings and abilities to say whatever they want, especially when that whatever is literally just the N-word because they hate Black people.
You're an unashamed racist.
Correct.
Well, do you understand that makes you a despicable human being?
I guess so. I don't really care. I mean, why are we not talking about Shiloh Hendricks? Why are we talking about?
Well, actually, I think you've moved it on in this debate very quickly to your own racism, which explains why you've supported her in public and why you've got all these views. You see no problem with a woman shrieking the N-word repeatedly because you yourself are a despicable racist, and you've just proudly admitted that with a smug grin on your face, which is pretty horrifying, actually, for most people to have to watch. And shame on you. You're entitled to do it, and I'm entitled to call you despicable.
Well, shame on white people for allowing themselves to be systematically discriminated against in the United States. This is our country. This is a country that should
What do you
be
mean your
majority
country?
because I'm white and my
What, there are no
ancestors.
black people in American history? Is that what you're saying? That they've all just landed in America, invading you,
Yes.
your white country? Is that your position?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this has to be rage bait, so I'm not even going to like react the way they would want because like I don't genuinely think you can be this stupid. I mean, maybe, but who knows? African Americans legitimately built this country for free, though. So it's just as bit of our country as anyone else's, but I don't think it's like anyone's country. I think that's a weird way to view countries, right? I also do love, however, that the mask comes off here and that you have to admit that if you're one of these people, the idea of an American will always come back to some white-centric view in one way or the other, but white people systematically discriminated against isn't something I can let go of. It must be the weakest discrimination of all time, given that white people are still twice less likely to be denied a mortgage or home loan than a black person. They have a life expectancy of 4 years longer than a black person. Their insurance rate is like 2 times as high than black people. They have schools with better resources and teachers at like an 80 to 90% clip compared to black people, half as likely to be threatened by police during an encounter for the similar assumption of crime, right? And they're 3 times less likely to be jailed if arrested for the exact same crime as a black person. But like white people can't say the N-word, so they're definitely systematically discriminated against.